What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tony Crypto and Stock News. It is Wednesday, April 29th, 2026, and this might be the single most important day of the entire year for your portfolio. Today is Charts Edition. We are breaking down the key levels, the support zones, the resistance walls, and exactly what the charts are telling you about Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and Solana right now. No hype, no guessing, just the data. On top of that, we have a quick recap from Bitcoin Conference Day 2. And tonight, after the closing bell, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, and Meta all report earnings. The Federal Reserve announces its rate decision at 2 p.m. Eastern today. It is all happening right now. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. Some links are affiliate links. Let's get into it. Before the charts, let me give you the quick version of what came out of the Bitcoin 2026 conference yesterday, because some of this directly moves the assets we are about to break down. First, strategy did not wait for the keynote. While everyone was watching speeches on day one, they quietly purchased 3,273 Bitcoin for $255 million. Holdings now exceed 818,000 Bitcoin. Average cost, $66,000 per coin. Saylor buys first, announces second. Every time. The biggest news from the conference and the one most channels are underplaying. SEC Chairman Paul Atkins released a new 5-category token taxonomy under Project Crypto. 4 of the 5 categories are classified as non-securities. That is the most significant shift in U.S. crypto regulation since the SEC was created. XRP has been fighting this battle for 6 years. Hedera, Solana, Cardano, all affected. This is a formal end to regulation by enforcement. The era of sue first, ask questions later is officially over. A dedicated session pushed for small Bitcoin transactions, likely under $200 or $600, to be exempt from a capital gains reporting. Same treatment foreign currency already gets. Lummis's co-sponsoring requires a congressional vote. But the coalition is now organized, public, and has bipartisan support. And the story other channels will skip, but we cover the good, the bad, and the ugly. Longtime Bitcoin investor Simon Dixon said publicly that he no longer speaks at these conferences. He said they are being built and funded by groups trying to gather as much Bitcoin as possible inside financial industrial complex wrappers. His concern: more Bitcoin is now held through ETFs and treasury companies than by individuals holding their own private keys. That is a philosophical debate worth having. Your money, your keys, your decision. That is the conference recap. Now, the charts. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. All right, Bitcoin. Let's walk through exactly where we are and what the chart is telling us. Current price, $76,889, down about 1% today. The RSI 14 is at 55.8, neutral zone. Not overbought, not oversold. The market is waiting for a catalyst to commit. Here are the levels you need to know. On the support side, first support is 76,187, very close to current price. Second support is 74,941. The strongest support, the one that if broken could trigger real concern, has 73,321. On the resistance side, first resistance is 79,052. Second is 80,672. And third is 81,918. Notice that the 50-day moving average at 79,060 aligns almost exactly with that first resistance. That makes 79,000 the most important level to watch today. Here is the honest read on the conference and the charts. Bitcoin spiked to $79,000 when the conference opened on day 1, then reversed sharply below 77,000. That is a classic sell the news pattern. The market anticipated the positive headlines and priced them in before they happened. When the news hit, there was nobody left to buy. This does not mean the conference failed. It means the real sustained rally comes from actual legislative wins. Clarity Act markup in May, Bitcoin Act floor vote, not from keynote speeches. The conference plants seeds. The legislation is the harvest. Stay patient. 2 numbers to memorize. If Bitcoin breaks 79,384 on a clean daily close, $1.27 billion in short positions get liquidated automatically. That forced buying could push Bitcoin to 82 or 85,000 very fast. If it drops to 71,958, nearly $2 billion in long liquidations trigger. These are the danger zones on both sides. Know them. Despite the pullback from 79,000, Bitcoin is still making higher lows on the daily chart. The ascending channel is intact. The double bottom formation broke through 74,267, an established break that historically predicts a further rise. Volume balance is positive, the long-term technical outlook remains constructive, and the catalyst that could override everything I just said. The Federal Reserve rate decision at 2 p.m. Eastern today. 100% probability of a hold, but here is what matters. Chair Powell's press conference language. If he says the word patient, that signals a hold for the foreseeable future. If he says flexible or data-dependent with an emphasis on downside risks, that signals a cut is coming sooner than expected. A dovish surprise sends Bitcoin back to 80,000 today. This is the most important 2 p.m. of 2026. Now XRP. And I need to be honest with you on this one. The chart is telling a complicated story right now. Let me walk through both sides. Current price, approximately $1.40. RSI 14 at 49.6. Neutral. That means the market is undecided, waiting for a catalyst to pick a direction. Here is the concerning technical data. XRP is below its 50-day moving average at $1.38 and below its 200-day moving average at $1.88. Both moving averages overhead create resistance. The MACD is below the signal line with growing bearish histogram bars. The most important chart event this week, XRP broke below the $1.40 support level on high volume. This is the support level that held for weeks. When a support breaks on high volume, it tells you that sellers were aggressive, not passive. That level is now flipped to resistance. The descending triangle is confirmed. Next support levels to watch, $1.37, then $1.34. If both of those fail, the chart targets $1.20. Know your exits before you enter any position. But here is the bullish case. And it is a real one. An analyst has spotted a cup and handle pattern forming on the daily chart. This is historically one of the most reliable continuation patterns in technical analysis. The target triggers on a confirmed break above $1.48, a 16% move from current levels. And here is context that matters. Historically, the 3 previous times XRP's RSI fell below 33. The token gained between 226% and 1,460% in the months that followed. The RSI is now at 49, not at 33, but the pattern of RSI recoveries from low levels has been explosive for XRP. The most important level in the entire XRP chart, $1.48, scored 75 out of 100 by multi-time frame analysts, 5 historical tests on the 1-day and 3-day charts. Fibonacci 1.618 extension alignment. This is the ceiling that has repeatedly rejected XRP this cycle. A breakout above $1.48 with volume opens the door to $1.70, a 20% move. Then $1.85 on the next leg. Breakout confirmation rule. High volume daily close plus RSI above 60. No confirmation. Wait. Patience is the trade. Now here is why I am not purely bearish on XRP despite the chart break. Tomorrow, Thursday, May 1st, Coinbase trade at settlement. Futures go live for XRP. This is the institutional execution tool used for gold, crude oil, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Every major institutional fund manager who has been waiting for a proper execution infrastructure now has it. On top of that, Atkins non-security classification yesterday removed the biggest regulatory overhang XRP has carried since 2020. Chart says, bearish short-term. Fundamentals say the biggest institutional catalyst in XRP history arrived this week. Watch which one wins. Ethereum and Solana. Let's go. 2 of the most important charts in crypto right now, for very different reasons. Let's start with Ethereum. Ethereum. trading around $2,364. RSI at 61.7, healthy. That is in the zone where there is still room to run before becoming overbought. 8 consecutive days of positive ETF inflows. Ethereum is in a structurally sound uptrend. The key level to watch, $2,400. That is where sellers have repeatedly stepped in. If Ethereum fails to clear that level on the first attempt, and it very well might, expect a pullback to 2,100 to flush out late buyers before the next leg higher. That pullback, if it happens, is the buying opportunity. The Glamsterdam upgrade in the first half of 2026 is reducing exchange-held supply as holders move Ethereum into hardware wallets. Less Ethereum on exchanges means less available to sell, structurally positive. Tonight's Mag 4 earnings are the near-term catalyst, Solana. And this is the most interesting technical setup of all 4 assets we are covering today. Solana has been trading inside a range of $77 to $94 for months. And here is what makes right now so significant. The Bollinger Bands on the 3-day chart have squeezed to their tightest point in months. Lower band, $80.80. Upper band, $89.43. SOL is sitting right in the middle at $84. Think of Bollinger Band squeezes like a compressed spring. The tighter the squeeze, the more energy is stored. Price does not stay compressed forever. When it breaks out, it moves fast and hard. The question is, which direction? The cleanest trade instruction for Solana right now: do not trade inside the range. Analyst Ali Charts has been explicit about this. Wait for a confirmed 3-day chart close outside the range before committing capital. A close above $94 targets $110 to $120 and quickly with volume. A close below $77 targets $65 or lower. Those are the 2 scenarios. Trade the break, not the range. The tension in the Solana thesis right now. Western Union chose Solana over Ethereum for its global stablecoin, the biggest enterprise validation in Solana's history. Bullish. But monthly ETF inflows have fallen for 6 straight months, from 419 million in November 2025 to 39.9 million in April. That declining ETF buying is the only thing that has held the price floor through heavy exchange selling. If May inflows fall below April's number, the squeeze resolves downward. The Western Union Day-end partner announcement expected this week is the wild card. If it is a major exchange, Solana breaks above 94 before the technicals catch up. Now, the biggest night of 2026, the FOMC and the Mag 4. I want you to understand the scale of what is happening today. This is not a normal Wednesday. The Federal Reserve rate decision drops at 2 p.m. Eastern. Then, after the closing bell tonight, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, and Meta all report earnings. These 4 companies combined represent over $10 trillion in market cap. Apple follows tomorrow, Thursday. This is the most concentrated earnings event in market history. On the FOMC, 100% probability of a hold. But the press conference language is everything. Listen for 2 specific words. Patient means hold for the foreseeable future. Flexible or data-dependent, with an emphasis on the downside. That signals a rate cut is being seriously considered. This could be Jerome Powell's final FOMC meeting as Fed chair before Kevin Warsh takes over. He may use this moment to set the tone for his legacy. The Mag 4 breakdown. Starting with Microsoft. Down 14% year-to-date, the biggest underperformer of the group. The market has been skeptical about whether AI spending is actually generating returns. Azure cloud growth and Copilot monetization are the key lines. If Microsoft proves AI is paying off, the entire sector re-rates higher. Alphabet, Google Search and YouTube advertising recovery plus Google Cloud growth. Advertising resilience despite macro uncertainty is the key number. Any sign of AI search cannibalizing ad revenue would be a miss. Amazon, this is simple. AWS cloud growth is the only number that matters. If AWS beats, stock rallies regardless of anything else. Consumer spending via Prime is secondary. Meta, Threads growth, Reels monetization, and AI infrastructure spending. Meta is up over 10% this month going into earnings. It needs to deliver to hold those gains. If all 4 beat, Expect the S&P to push toward new all-time highs tomorrow and crypto to follow. If two or more miss, the AI trade unwinds and every risk asset sells off together. Tonight determines the direction of the next 2 weeks for your entire portfolio. Here is what the charts are actually telling us and what it means. 5 insights from the chart data. This is the synthesis, putting all 4 assets together into one picture. 1. Bitcoin is in a sell the news consolidation. The conference spiked it to 79,000, then reversed. That is not a failure. That is the market resetting for the next real catalyst. The Clarity Act Senate Committee markup in May is the legislative event that produces the sustained rally. Stay positioned, stay patient. 2. XRP is a tale of 2 signals. The chart broke support at $1.40. That is bearish near term. But the Coinbase TAS launch tomorrow and Atkins' non-security classification yesterday are 2 of the most bullish fundamental events in XRP's history. In this market, and when fundamental catalysts are this strong, they tend to override the short-term technical breakdown. Watch the $1.43 level for first confirmation of recovery. 3. Solana is a coiled spring. 6 months of declining ETF inflows and heavy exchange selling. But the price held at 84. That is telling you a buyer exists. Western Union chose Solana for its global stablecoin. That buyer might be the entire enterprise finance sector arriving over the next 12 months. The Dayan partner announcement this week could break the Bollinger Squeeze to the upside before the technicals give you a signal. This is where staying informed matters more than chart reading alone. 4. Tonight is the AI referendum. Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, and Meta combined have committed over $144 billion in AI capital expenditure. The market has been asking one question all year. Is AI actually generating returns? Tonight we get the answer from the 4 biggest spenders. If they all deliver, the answer is yes, and everything in tech and crypto re-rates higher. Watch for any earnings call language about AI return on investment. That is the phrase that will move markets. 5. Fear and greed. At 47 means the crowd is hesitant and uncertain. But the chart reader knows something the crowd does not. Bitcoin is making higher lows. ETF inflows are positive. The ascending channel is intact. The investor who understands these levels, who knows that 79,384 is the short squeeze trigger and 71,958 is the danger zone, that investor is not making emotional decisions. That investor has an edge. That is why we do chart editions. And that is why we build little by little, with knowledge, with patience, and with integrity. Let me close with the levels one more time fast. Bitcoin, support at 76,187. Short squeeze trigger at 79,384. Watch the FOMC at 2 p.m. XRP broke below $1.40. Key resistance now at $1.44. Fundamental catalyst, Coinbase TAS tomorrow. Do not chase. Wait for confirmation. Ethereum, support 2,100. Resistance 2,400. Watch MAG 4 earnings tonight. Solana, do not trade inside 77 to 94. Wait for a confirmed 3-day close outside the range. And you can start trading all of these on Kraken using our affiliate link in the description. Trusted exchange, low fees. Link is there every single episode. Before I let you go, a word that I think is perfect for a charts edition. Luke 14. Verse 28 says, "For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it?" Jesus was talking about discipleship, but he was also describing, with remarkable precision, what every serious investor should do before every trade. Count the cost. Know your support levels before you enter. Know your resistance. Know your liquidation zones. Know how much you are willing to lose before you decide how much you are hoping to gain. The investor who counts the cost before entering is the investor who is still standing when the volatile weekends. Most people react to charts emotionally. They buy at the top because it felt exciting. They sell at the bottom because it felt terrifying. The chart reader, the one who sat down, counted the cost, and made a plan, acts when others panic and waits when others rush. That is not just a trading strategy. That is wisdom that is thousands of years old, and it works. Stay grounded today. The FOMC is at 2 p.m. The MAG 4 report tonight. XRP TAS is tomorrow. And through all of it, count the cost, move with intention, and build little by little. If the chart edition added value today, smash that like, hit subscribe, ring that bell. New episode every single day. I'm Tony. God bless you. And I'll see you tomorrow with the full post-FOMC, post-earnings breakdown. Let's get it.